This is my friend Naoko. She's 30 years old and she's never worn makeup before. In all the time that I've known her, I've never really seen her dress feminine at all. I've never seen her do anything with her hair. I've never seen her dress feminine, and certainly never saw her wearing makeup. So when I asked her if she'd let me do her makeup, I was very surprised when she said yes. So I started by moisturizing her skin with Studio Moisture Cream from MAC. And I just spread that on because her skin is a little dry. She's got really, really beautiful porcelain skin. And she's just naturally that way because, trust me, she doesn't put that much effort into, you know, skincare and all that stuff. But she's just born with beautiful skin. But it was a little dry. So her primer that I'm using for her eye is MAC Soft Ochre. And I'm spreading that all over her lid. The brush that I'm using was just like the first brush that was on top of my brush bag. As particular as I am with brushes, some are just interchangeable. I'm working almost 100% out of this Morphe Bronze Gold Artist palette. And bear with me, guys. It's blurry in the beginning, but it'll clear up in just a couple seconds, the visual. So I'm moving down with my colors. I started with a lighter reddish brown, and now I'm moving into a darker as I get closer to the eyelid. And this is a brush that I love. This is the MAC 221. I use this brush quite a bit, and I'm just intensifying the look. I'm going to use this gold color on the lid, and when I set out to do this, my goal was to make her eye a little bit dramatic, but I still kind of just wanted to capture her natural beauty. So I didn't want to do anything too crazy. It is a bit of a dramatic look, but not too much. She obviously has a beautiful smile that I wanted to be a focal point. So I'm just intensifying the outer edge of her lid and blending it, merging it into that gold color, still using the MAC 221 brush. And then I'm just using an even darker brown and working that at the very edge of the lid to really smoke it out. And if I were to really want this look to be more intense, I would use an actual eyeliner. But again, I just wanted sort of a slight dramatic smoky eye. So I'm taking an eyeshadow and using that as eyeliner, smudging it out, not making it too pronounced. And then an even darker brown right at the lash line, just to intensify it, but not make it too intense. I'm taking a pencil brush and moving that along the lower lash line. You can see it's totally a mess, but I'll clean it up in a bit. And again, I really didn't know where I was going with this. I wanted Naoko to look like Naoko, but then in actuality, she's going to look like a totally different person because Naoko is not this girly. I'm cleaning up the edge with a wet wipe, giving myself some sort of form for her eyeshadow. And one of my favorite foundations, NARS Radiant Longwear Foundation. Again, I've never done Naoko's makeup before, so I'm figuring out her face like a jigsaw puzzle as I go along. I'm mixing these two foundations, trying to cancel out the redness in her skin. I don't use any color correctors or anything like that. I'm always able to achieve whatever look I'm going for by just using foundations and concealers. I'm spreading this all over with a makeup bullet sponge that's damp. And I think at this point, I realize that my coloring is slightly off. So I began to move into the darker foundations to try to balance it. This is the beginning of my contour that I'm putting right at the temples. And I knew that this would bring warmth back into the face. So this is my third foundation that I'm using at this point. Putting it into the hollow of the cheek, and you can see the life coming back into the skin that was once like one-dimensional. It's a process. It's really a process of balance. And this is my fourth foundation where I'm using a darker color, the darkest of the four, to contour. And now I'm gonna use Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Concealer. And I'm just blending that under the eye. And just with that contrast, you can see it's making the eye pop a bit more. Carrying it down and beginning to merge it into that first contour color that I put down. Doing the same on the other side. Just as you go along, you know, one step can reveal what the next step should be. So I'm seeing that I brightened her, but I want to kind of balance her out and bring her back down. So I'm just using leftover foundation, one of the warmer colors, to balance out that under eye. And I'll do the same under the darkest contour, using that same brush to put my concealer color, helping me cut out a cheekbone. It's also a bit too light, so I'll go over it with my foundation sponge and just make it a bit more warm. Nico obviously has really, really beautiful eyes. And I always knew that she had beautiful eyes, so it's just plain to see, you know, without any makeup. But as I went along, I was pleasantly surprised and just appreciated them even more. So I'm setting her because I'm happy with the result of my skin. I think I have a nice effect. So I'm using Laura Mercier translucent powder to set all over the face. And I'm going to line her waterline with NYX Milk Jumbo Eyeliner, which is super uncomfortable when you're lining somebody's waterline, and especially somebody who's never had their makeup done. I'm surprised at how well she handled this. I'm going to take my pencil brush and just go under the eye, making sure that I didn't lose any of my color when I put down that concealer. And I'm using a recently discontinued product from MAC called Girl Boy Brow Set. And I'm so sad because I love this brow set. For somebody with a darker eyebrow, it can give the illusion of a bleached brow. And for someone with such fine hair as Nako, it's darkening her brow. And it's going to make it look a little too intense until you see her with the completed look. It'll make sense once her wig is on. And working from that Morphe palette, again, I just took one of those brown eyeshadows and I'm just defining the brow a little bit more. Extending the brow. Hair-like strokes in the front. Just sculpting it. And then I'm going to take my concealer and at the tail end, just clean up an edge for myself, creating a highlight also. I didn't find the need to put lashes on her. Again, I wanted Nico to just look like a prettier version of herself. And I felt like the eye was dramatic enough, so adding a lash would have been a little too much drama. And at this point, she's not seen herself at all. But it's amazing to see how beautiful. Again, I always knew how pretty she was, but it was amazing to see her come forward even more. I don't even know if she knows how pretty she is. I'm just making sure before I set under the eye that the concealer didn't gather in the creases of the eye. And I'm using my favorite blush from Anastasia Beverly Hills, Peachy Love. This blush set looks great on any skin tone. Adding some color back into the face. And NARS bronzers are some of my favorites. I love this set. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. It's in French. I love these because it's not like that super shiny. It's just like a nice natural bronze. And at this point, again, she's not seen herself. So we ended up pulling away and putting something fancy on Nako. And we'll be back with the final look. And Nako's reaction is hilarious. She's a New Yorker, y'all.
Get the fuck out of here! Bro, my eyes look popping, bro. Yo, I think I should. Yo, you should definitely put a picture of me on how I really dress. No, yo, in the beginning of the video. Hell straight yeah. Dice. Straight dice. The nicest picture you can get on my fucking Instagram. There you go. And look up seductively. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be like. Show me first how to do it. Like. I tried. Go for it. You tried to do the Maybelline. Hold on.
So there you have it. That is my complete transformation. I hope you guys had as much fun watching it as we did filming it. We had a really good time. And it wouldn't have been such a great transformation, I have to mention, without my friend Tiara Milton of She and Her Hair Studio, who created this super realistic wig that Nako's wearing. None of her real hair is exposed. And I love the look. I love the whole thing. Now, if we could just work on Nako's hair flinging skills, then we'd really be set and she just might turn into a supermodel, but I doubt it. If you guys like this look, if you'd like to see me do more transformations like this, then please comment below and let me know what kind of looks you'd like to see me describe. Also, don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel because I do plan on having more makeovers like this. So thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you right back here really soon.